In a historic week for the Middle East, the old model of security is being shaken to its core. For decades, Gulf nations relied on Western military might to shield their skies and borders. But following Israel's first ever strike on a Gulf state, everything has changed. Is this the beginning of an Islamic NATO? Hello and welcome. Today we break down the dramatic calls for a Muslim military alliance after the unprecedented Israeli strike on Doha, Qatar. What does it mean for the region and for the world? Let's dive in. It began on September 9, 2025. Israeli airstrikes targeted senior Hamas operatives in Doha, the capital of Qatar, triggering outrage and fear far beyond Qatar's borders. The fallout was immediate. As missiles fell, the myth of invulnerability in the Gulf was shattered. Within days, Qatar called an emergency summit. Over 40 countries from the Arab League and the Organization of Islamic Cooperation gathered in Doha. Among them, Egypt's President El-Sisi, Turkey's President Erdogan, Iran's President Pezeshkian, and Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. It wasn't just a photo op, it was the region's most serious discussion about defense in decades. Iran's leadership called for a united Muslim military force, an Islamic NATO, to face external threats, especially from Israel. Iraq's Prime Minister al-Sudani stressed the Islamic world must defend itself. Pakistani and Turkish leaders echoed the need for a collective security doctrine. So, did they actually form an alliance? Not quite yet, but some important steps were agreed upon. Gulf defense ministers met again and promised greater intelligence sharing. Plans for a regional ballistic missile warning system were announced. The first joint military drills in years were put on the table. Most dramatically, Saudi Arabia announced a strategic mutual defense pact with Pakistan, the only Muslim-majority country with nuclear weapons. Their pact says any aggression against either state will be considered an attack on both. That's the strongest military guarantee ever inked in the Muslim world, echoing NATO's Article 5. Here's where things get complicated. Some politicians and media hype the idea of an Islamic NATO, but experts say the full comparison doesn't fit. Unlike NATO, Gulf readers don't want to be dragged into wars outside their own interests. Deep-rooted rivalries, Saudi versus Iran, Turkey versus Egypt, Qatar versus UAE, make true military integration difficult. Instead of a NATO, what's likely is a looser format. 6 Gulf states plus Turkey and Egypt, known as 6+2. These countries can cooperate more closely, but without the binding mutual defense clause of NATO. Why is the ground shifting? 2 reasons. 1, the decline of U.S. involvement. After the Doha attack, many Arab leaders felt abandoned by Washington's lukewarm response. Reliance on the U.S. feels riskier than ever. 2, a new sense of vulnerability. Israeli precision strikes, growing regional missile capacity, and volatile alliances have raised the stakes for every country in the region. Listen to Dr. Andreas Krieg, security expert at King's College London. Gulf security was always based on paying for protection. That mentality is changing, slowly but surely. But can these states really unite? 3 big obstacles stand out: historic distrust and rivalries, differences in governance from monarchies to theocracies to military regimes, and outside interference, especially from the US, Israel, and even Russia or China, who might see this alliance as a threat. What happens next? For now, most analysts agree the Islamic NATO is more of a concept and a powerful signal than a concrete reality. But the narrative is already shifting. Cooperation is deeper, joint military exercises are back on the agenda, the Gulf's reliance on Western power is fading, if slowly. We'll be watching what happens next. Will the 6+2 format grow? Can Saudi and Pakistan bring others on board? Will outside powers try to undercut these moves? Or could this just be another diplomatic mirage in the shifting sands of Middle Eastern politics? What do you think? Is an Islamic NATO possible or just a pipe dream? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives on global issues.